Hello, it's Molly Reamer with Bridget's Grove and 30 Days of Goddess, and I would love to welcome you to our June practice. This month's theme is flourish, and I really want to invite you to consider how you can step into your own flourishing, how you can inhabit your own flourishing, how you can unfold, grow, deepen, change, bloom, as well as to consider what you need to flourish. What do you need to flourish? And secondarily, tertiarily, what is already flourishing in your life? What is flourishing around you? So noticing, tapping into, celebrating, and savoring what's already there, what's already flourishing, what's already growing and abundant and beautiful without you trying, without you having to force it or make anything happen or control it or push it, but just noticing what is there. So I jumped right into it, and I'm going to pull back a little bit now to allow you to settle into this time and this place, into your body with a deep breath and welcoming yourself in just as you are right now. There is a place for you. You belong. And allowing what you feel to exist, allowing your body to be as it is, allowing your heart to be as it is. And then wandering your attention around your own environment, perhaps casting your eyes to the north and noticing what you notice there. Perhaps turning your body to the west and noticing what's there right now. Perhaps turning your attention to the south and noticing what's there, what's part of your world right now. And then to the east, what's there in your world right now. For me, there is a red-winged blackbird with only one leg who comes to our feeder. I actually saw this red-winged blackbird all last year as well, and I would have assumed that maybe it wouldn't survive, but it is back this year with its one foot, and so it balances with a little teetering. And so when I was speaking of what's in the south, that's what I saw. The red-winged blackbird with the one foot came. And so that's one of those things. What's flourishing? It can even be a red-winged blackbird with one leg. So I would like to go ahead and read the poem from the back of the June prayer book for 30 Days of Goddess. Reminder that we do have some copies of the prayer books in our shop on Etsy, and we also are doing most order fulfillment directly via lulu.com, which has all 12 volumes of the seasonal prayer book available to you. So you can order as many as you want for whatever months you want right there. And there'll be a link below this video for that as well. So I would like to go ahead and read you the poem from the back of that book because I think it speaks to this theme of flourishing. We have been curled in the in-between, deep and safe, resting and waiting. Now we feel a summons, a wild urging, a call to the cracking open. There is a time for being small and quiet, and there's a time for fierce insistence on being present and heard. A time for stretching out, for taking up space, for pushing beyond the edges and daring to grow. The time for reemergence has come. Now we rise, or now we flourish. So, as I noted, the theme for this month is flourish, and inviting yourself to consider what it would be like to flourish into your own wholeness, to flourish into your own magic, to flourish into your own knowing, to flourish into inhabiting the center of your own life, to flourish right where you are. And so that is the invitation to you. That is the theme. That is the encouragement. You will find the resources that you need available at 30daysofgoddess.com, as well as snapshot cards with the prayer, like the thematic centering prayer for this month is available for you at 30daysofgoddess.com, and practice printables and etc. are available for you there as well. So, as I mentioned in my whirlwind introduction, this is the time of year too when I find it's extremely powerful to look around at what is flourishing without tending. What is flourishing without my need to interfere with or control it? What's in bloom on its own? And this can be literal, physical, what's in bloom on its own. I don't need to be out there with the red-winged blackbird tending to it and feeding it by hand. It's out there flourishing on its own. I mean, I do have seeds out, so it does, I am affecting it somewhat, but it's out there flourishing on its own. What's in bloom around you? What is flourishing on its own without you needing to wrestle with or struggle with or control it? So it can be physically speaking, like what's in bloom right outside your front door. And it can also be metaphorical. So what feels easy for you? What is coming naturally? What is flowing naturally? What's expanding for you? What's flourishing metaphorically in your life without you needing to struggle with or wrestle with or control it? What's there? What's flourishing on its own? So that's really what I want to keep us coming back to this month, is both what we need to flourish and how do we tend to our own flourishing? What do we need to flourish? And what's already flourishing without us needing to do anything about it? What can we notice? What can we appreciate? What can we savor? What can we delight in? What can we find joy in? What's flourishing already? So those are the core things that I wanted to note or reinforce. And then I want to go ahead and read another poem to you from, I had a whole bunch of stuff I wanted to read to you this month apparently, and maybe I'll save some for our live online circle. We do have a live online circle, Simple and Sacred. You will get access information to that 1 hour before it starts. It's the second Friday of the month. You'll get email access linking to that an hour before it starts. So our next one is coming up, I believe June 9th is the date, and access is open to anybody who's on the 30 Days of Goddess mailing list. Replays then are available exclusively for our Goddess Magic community on Patreon, which is patreon.com/Bridget'sGrove. So that's coming up. So maybe I'll save some of my poems to read during the live circle instead. But this is the one I wanted to touch into again because I think it connects again with our flourishing and considering those questions that I have posed. It is time to find those dreams, the ones you folded up and left underneath a pile of to-do lists and shoulds. It is time to excavate those truths, the things you buried deep behind how you ought to be. It is time to recover the splinters of your attention scattered on the winds of what to buy and how to think. It is time to reclaim your magic, the power that pulses at the center and moves your feet to dance beneath the moon. And so one of the things that's flourishing for me that I'm excited about is the publication of 365 Days of Goddess, the third in our series of Goddess devotionals. 365 Days of Goddess is a daily practice companion, a daily reader. So there's a reading for every month, every day of the year. And I'm really finding this is helping me to flourish. I'm really finding it a powerful addition to my daily practice in the morning to just open to what the day is in the book and reading it to myself, sometimes aloud and sometimes silently. So I really hope this book will help you to flourish as well. We are having a celebration event for it, 3 days of online retreat that's pre-recorded, followed by a live celebration gathering online. So that is available to you, and I will link to that below with the theme of claiming your magic. So that is coming up for you too. And then the other thing I wanted to touch on is a revisiting of some themes from last year's June video. And I came across my transcript of notes from that video, and they re-spoke to me. And even though the theme last year was on pockets of presence, I still find that some of the thoughts that I shared during that video are really relevant to the theme of flourishing for this month. So I wanted to revisit them. If you've already watched that video, you can go ahead and shut me off now and have just this new content about flourishing, or you can keep listening and we will dive back into that. What daily practice can offer to us and how it can help us flourish and how it can help us reach out to touch other people's lives. I passionately believe that daily practice can change your life, that daily practice will change your life. But I also believe that it will help you to change the lives of other people as well. So this is what I wanted to share, is that many of us may come to daily practice or to a goddess-centered path in general feeling weary and depleted. There is a lot going on. And it's not just, there's a lot going on globally, there's a lot going on nationally, and then there's a lot going on personally in people's individual lives. There's a lot. We may feel weary, we may feel depleted. We may also come feeling optimistic and like, this is our answer, this is the way, the way, and now everything's going to be easy and there will be no more suffering. And so you will find that I hold a strain of fierce optimism and bold trust in the inherent goodness, joy, and beauty all around us, and that permeates my work, like this persistent, insistent belief in goodness, beauty, joy, and magic. And at the same time, I want to acknowledge that there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of hardship, and there's a lot of suffering in the world. Great stripes of joy and beauty coexist beside great swaths of hardship and pain, that they coexist. And so, there's also deeply embedded structures of social inequality, systemic inequality, oppression, injustice, etc., especially for people who belong to marginalized populations, people who are Black, Indigenous, people of color, people who are gender diverse or gender non-conforming, people. There's a lot of pressures that act to silence your voice. And so these are real things. These are systemic inequalities. These are oppressive elements. These are social inequities. These things exist. And so in the face of all these factors, it can be a challenge to like hold our faith, to believe in goodness, beauty, and magic and goddess. It can be hard to hold faith and hold trust, and even to feel safe enough to let our spirits have what they crave. That can be challenging because we may be up against a lot of factors, but also because sometimes we may worry that at some level, to give ourselves what we need to feed our spirits is perpetuating some type of denial about the pain that exists in the world, or that other people are experiencing, or that we ourselves are experiencing. And so we might worry that if we allow ourselves the time and space to have these practices that fuel us and sustain us and that bring us joy, that means we're turning our faces away from the suffering. And I would like to be very clear that daily practice and goddess-based spiritual paths are not about turning our eyes away from the world, the hardships of the world, or from the people who need us. What they are about is about creating a resource base that fuels and sustains us, that helps us to flourish into wholeness and healing and hope and harmony, giving us what we need to carry forth to help others, And so we're creating a resource base that fuels us so we have something to give. I mean, it's also just, we ourselves are worth the time. So it's not always about just what we can give. But one of the benefits of daily practice is we find that our own soul is replenished and refueled. So then we have something from which to give, something to draw upon to give. And so anyway, if you become spiritually depleted, if you become bereft and worn out and drained, this actually helps no one and solves nothing. If, on the other hand, you are fueled and boosted and nourished and supported, if you are flourishing, this does help you to help other people. So we might have the sensation that we cannot afford to waste time on matters of the spirit, but the truth is we can't afford not to spend time on matters of the spirit, because spiritual tending to our spirits is a necessary and healing balm for the wounding all around us. So I wanted to revisit that concept and encourage you to keep trusting in possibility, to keep trusting in the goddess, to keep trusting in your own magic. Please allow yourself time and space for the practices that fuel you and sustain you. You will find that a dedication to daily practice is an essential factor in having hope, faith, love, and compassion available to pour out into others. We need nourished hearts and fed spirits in order to be of service. So our own flourishing can lead to the flourishing of others. It really, really can. And becoming hopeless, giving up, does nothing to change the world. It'll change your world for the worse. It will change your world, but it does nothing to change the world. Your flourishing can change the world. It can change the lives of others. So I really wanted to reinforce that and bring it back. So anyway, as we have said, or this is still leftover notes from last June, but I did find them to rise back up as good reminders. And as I say in every video, is that truly and deeply at the heart, daily practice and 30 Days of Goddess as a philosophy, as a movement, as a process, is about both making a space for the sacred and for yourself in the everyday, however small. So I always encourage you to come back to the smallest possible practices that nourish you, that help you to flourish, and that fit into the lives we actually have, not the lives we imagine we could live, or the lives that we see somebody else on Instagram apparently living. We need to create practices that support the lives that we're actually living. So, yeah. Anyway, practice happens day by day. It happens moment by moment. It happens hour by hour. It happens month by month. It does not happen 500 days at a time. It does not happen 850 days at a time. It happens moment by moment, day by day. And whether you're looking at 30 days, 500 days, 1,000 days, each of those days still only happens one moment at a time. So I like to keep coming back to the 30-day commitment because it gives us an opportunity to recommit, to keep our promise, to tend to our vows, to change something if we need to change it, to consider how our practices are working in our lives, and to introduce something new or to take away something that's not working. So that's why I like this 30 Days of Goddess container. And each month of practice becomes an invitation to the next 30 days of sacred moments. Each month is an invitation into 30 possible days in which you can build your blessing basket of practices to support yourself and to nourish your life, your spirit, your heart, your love, and your community, and your world. So each month of the year becomes a container or an invitation. Each day itself becomes its own container. Each day is an opportunity to begin anew, to have what you crave, to listen to the goddess in your world, in your life, and to respond to the invitation so freely offered every day. And so one of the things that I love to encourage people to respond to is that we have moments of longing in each day where we wish for something more, where we wish for magic, where we wish for connection, where we wish for a practice to help us, to sustain us, to lift our spirits. And the sensation of longing, the moment in which you feel the pang, the moment in which you think, I wish things were different, I wish something felt better, more magical, more connected, more inspired, that moment of longing is your invitation. The moment of longing is the invitation. That's the call. And that's the moment to pause, to put a hand against your heart, to cup your face in your hands, to lay your hands against your heart. Did I say put your hand in your head? Well, put your hand against your head, lay your hands against your face, put your hands against your heart, lay your hands against your belly, open your arms to the sky. It's the moment to offer something. Read a prayer card, grab your 365 Days of Goddess book and read something. Reread the daily practice snapshot card. That moment of longing is your invitation. Step outside and look for a bird. Step outside and feel the sun. Step outside and feel the winds. Feel the rain. Feel the earth beneath your feet. That moment of longing is your invitation. That's your doorway. That's your doorway into practicing the presence of the goddess in every moment. And so that is what I wanted to offer to you this month. So thoughts about flourishing, thoughts about nourishing, thoughts about hope and healing and wholeness and complexity. So thank you so much for being here and for taking part in 30 Days of Goddess. Remember, you can go to 30daysofgoddess.com for everything that you need. You can go to patreon.com/goddessmagic for the devotional rhythm of a community. The Goddess Magic community really is a space for devotional experiencing and devotional practice as a shared experience. And you can kind of enter at multiple points in that rhythm and kind of dip and dive based on your own needs and what works for you. So I'm going to go ahead and close with the prayer also from, just a second. I'm actually going to do the June 1st reading from 365 Days of Goddess, and then I'll save the other one for our live instead. So settling yourself into your body again, perhaps giving yourself a little pause of gratitude for showing up, and perhaps making a commitment to your own flourishing. Sometimes you may feel dull and worn, muted and faded, stale and depleted. Remember that nothing blooms without also stopping to replenish. Nothing flowers without also needing roots. No stream flows without a bubbling source of renewal. Nothing is birthed without time spent waiting in the dark. Call your attention back from all its roaming and wandering. Let it land in your center. Notice your breath moving in and out. Notice what you can hear. Listen. Notice what you can see. Watch. Notice how your body is held wherever you are. Feel. Feel the earth beneath you, the warmth of your blood, the air in your lungs. Reach out your right hand and receive some love. Reach out your left hand and receive some energy. Bring both hands to your heart and pause to let it in. Whisper, I am here. Commit to this right now. So may you flourish this month. May you flourish in wholeness, in healing, in hope, in harmony. May you flourish into trust. May you flourish into your own magic. Thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye.